Okay, so here's an amazing lick from a piano player who tragically left us way too young at the age of 22. If you've never checked out Austin Peralta, I would highly recommend it. He's just a virtuoso, one of those child prodigies, just absolutely incredible piano player. And the album that this is off of, he recorded when he was either, I believe, 15 or 16, and his playing is just so mature and just so wise beyond his years. So very sad that he's not with us anymore. But if you have never checked him out, I will leave a link in the comments for the album that this is off of. And he's doing this lick over All the Things You Are, over one of the 2-5-1s to A flat major. And it has some really interesting stuff going on, particularly over the 5 chord. So I'll get into that. But we start out over the 2 chord with our pinky up on E flat, and we go. So we do E flat, C, A flat. So against the B flat minor chord, that's the 11, the 9, and then the flat 7. And then after I play that A flat, I hammer on to B flat with my pinky. And then from there, pointer finger on G, and then pointer finger on E flat. So it's really 2 major arpeggios, A flat major, and then E flat major. And he's doing it over the B flat minor 7 chord. So intervallically, like I said, 4, 2, flat 7, root, 6, and then 4 again. So, you know, all of that is straight out of the Dorian, just some different arpeggios that line up in the B flat Dorian. But right here is where it gets really interesting. So that's what he does over the E flat 7 chord. I had to think about this for a while. This is a pretty interesting note selection for that chord. So the first arpeggio that he does, pinky on, so basically you just go like this. You just take that E flat major arpeggio that we did and we just do the same thing down a half step. So it's a D major arpeggio. So pinky on A, pointer finger on F sharp, and then pointer finger on D. Now, that might not look like it makes a lot of sense over E flat 7, but what I think is going on right there is he's doing the tritone sub 2-5, which we've talked about this in so many different licks before, but if you haven't heard of that before, basically what it means is if we're in E flat 7, the tritone sub of E flat 7 is A7, right? But then if you want to go a step further and add the 2 of the tritone sub, so think about if you were doing a 2-5 and the 5 chord was A7, the 2 chord would be E minor, right? So if you look at this line, it lines up in E minor, right? Because it's A, F sharp, and D, which would be the 11, 9, and flat 7 of E minor. So I would say that he starts with these 2 Dorian arpeggios, and then he does an arpeggio out of the tritone sub 2-5. But then right here, he goes away from that again. So I thought about this part for a while. It was a little bit unclear to me as to exactly what's going on, and I could be wrong about this, but I think what he's doing here is he's just thinking E flat 7 again, and you start with A flat with my ring finger, and then pointer finger on E flat, hammer on to E, and then pointer finger on G. So if you look at those notes, it makes sense in relation to E flat 7. It's the 4, the root, the flat 9, and the 3rd. So he might just be doing like a little sus at the beginning, starting on the 4, and then giving it that dominant 7 flat 9 sound. So that line over that E flat 7 chord is... So far we have really amazing sound. And then the way that he concludes it over the A flat major is really interesting too. He goes... Very interesting sound because he's utilizing the sharp 5, which always gives you a very sort of modern outside kind of sound against the major chord. So what we do there, we have our pointer finger on C on the first string. So that's beat 1 of the A flat major chord. So he starts on the 3rd, and then I'm doing this. My ring finger on E flat, and then I hammer on to E with my pinky. Now that's really cool because it's the 3rd, the 5th, and then the sharp 5. Like I was saying, get that augmented sound. Very cool. John Scofield would use that a lot. And then your pinky moves up to G on the 15th fret. So it's 3rd, 5, sharp 5, and then major 7. And then the way he concludes it, he goes back to that sharp 5, the E note. So pointer finger on E, then middle finger on F, which is now the 6. So he goes from the sharp 5 to the 6, and then pinky back up on G, which is the 7. So really interesting choice of notes for that A flat major. And I really like how when he goes right here, he goes I like how he chooses the sharp 5 as opposed to the natural 5, because you would think that he might go something like that would be more, more of an inside sort of sound. But I think using the sharp 5 just makes it sound so much cooler. So a lot of really interesting stuff going on. So a couple times slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look at what's going on rhythmically, there's a very clear motif going on over the 2 chord and the 5 chord, up to that point. So, that's one of the ways that he can just kind of take some of these more outside sounds and just make them sound so great and so, smooth over the harmony, is because, the rhythms can really go a long way. If you come up with a nice rhythmic motif, you can get away with a lot of stuff, even if it's a little bit outside of the key, just because it's just, your ear catches onto it and it just works. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so really cool lick, a lot of cool stuff going on, and like I said, definitely check out that album. If you've never heard of him, you will not be disappointed at all. So that's it. That's our lick for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And if you would like to donate and support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MikeGaudetteMusic. And that's our episode for this week. I will see you guys at the next episode. Take care.